What is up, people? It is Dave. It is Duncan back from Tech Metal Epidemic, part of the channel where we'll be discussing and reviewing the latest tech from headphones to microphones and much more. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the Apple Airpods Max.
All the other reviews training for this one.
So, for those of you who are thinking, sounds like there might be Apple Airpods Max 2 on the horizon, which there are rumors of.
Every year there's rumours of.
Yeah,
Like, you just get used to every year they're like that. Whoa, they released another one and my wallet's like that. Please don't. Please.
Well, if you're thinking, should I wait off or should I check out the originals, then do not fret, because Duncan and I are here to talk about said Apple Airpods Max.
Isn't that like a great day for me? This is the day that I finally like when we reviewed the Downward Spiral. This is almost decades worth of me wearing you down to finally get you into becoming an Apple soy boy. So
Not only will we be getting into these on the review front, we'll also be chatting about how to spot a set of fake Apple Airpods Max.
a segment I didn't even think needed to exist, but apparently does, because some people out there will buy 2 sets of fake headphones before getting a pair of legitimate ones.
More on that later. We'll get into fakes later on and why we're talking about fakes later on. Firstly, though, before we get into the actual sound and stuff, a little bit of technical info on the, or tech spec, as I'm now calling
it. Oh, tech spec all over your face.
We're back. We're tech specking on this review. So,
painters fucking... You can't say boombox anymore because they don't have them.
Nah, no one knows what that is.
Like a painter's Alexa.
Apple Airpods Max are Bluetooth 5.0 over-ear headphones. These have 8 built-in microphones for active noise cancellation and 2 microphones for voice pickup. They use the Apple H1 chip, which is located in each ear cup, and also the Apple-designed 40mm dynamic drivers, providing high-fidelity audio, which features a dual neodymium ring magnet motor. Sounds like a sex toy.
We have completely different sex lives. I've just realised that.
We do. Apple claims that this design allows the AirPods Max to maintain total harmonic distortion of less than 1% across the entire audible range. As well as active noise cancellation, the headphones can be used in transparency mode for hearing and interacting with the world around you, and have Apple's personalised Spacial audio feature with dynamic head tracking that provides theatre-like surround sound and adaptive EQ. The headphones are fitted with a digital crown to allow you to easily adjust volume, answer calls, skip pause, activate Siri, plus a noise control button to switch between active noise cancellation and transparency mode. Battery life on the AirPods Max are around 20 hours of listening time on a single charge with ANC or transparency mode enabled, or 20 hours of movie playback on a single charge with spatial audio on, or 20 hours of talk time on a single charge. Who's talking for 20 hours? Or
us. Like literally us. Every fucking week.
They'll also give you 1.5 hours of listening time on 5 minutes of charge. The AirPods Max also come with the Apple Smart Case, which preserves battery charge and ultra low power state. They are also compatible with Android devices, boo, but not all the features will work.
Man. I love how much you've changed.
If you're using an Android device, some of the features don't actually work. So it doesn't like auto pause and play when you take them
Yeah.
off, and the voice assistant doesn't work obviously because it's Siri. The Apple AirPods Max don't technically support multi-point connection. However, you can pair them to multiple devices, but it won't switch automatically. You have to manually disconnect from one device to reconnect another, which isn't a problem if you're using Apple products, as the headphones will automatically switch to whichever device is playing audio. If you're jumping between Apple and non-Apple devices, then prepare to be getting into those Bluetooth settings. Price wise, the Apple AirPods Max come in at around £500.
My wife would refer to these as spenny.
Spenny.
Yeah, these are like, I mean, it's cross between just in general spending and expensive. They're very
Right.
spenny.
Very
I think it's something the kids say that my wife says to make
Mm.
herself feel like she's younger, but the way she says it just makes her feel older. You know, this is just really like, I was going to get myself these, but they were really spenny, and I'm
Right.
like,
Stop saying that.
divorce.
Duncan and I have spent well, we've spent quite a lot of penny, but we've also spent a lot of time
Yeah.
with the Apple AirPods Max to get a feel for the overall look and the
I
sound.
think I got
of-
my first pair like a year and 3/4 ago.
Oh, right, okay.
And then my wife I decided I didn't like the pink ones, which I got cheap. So I gave her the pink ones and then bought myself black ones. I've had my black ones like a year and a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had these for a long time. These are my
Long time.
like when I talk about these are the ones I almost compare everything to.
Yeah.
So I might as well just say it. I am an Apple user. Like most of the stuff I have in the house is Apple, and I've been that way for about a decade. So I have the AirPod Pros, so the in-ear ones, which I use pretty much for like just fucking around the house or whatever. I put one in. But when I want to listen to music, the Max is what I do it on. So every album I've ever reviewed on this is on a Max. So
on the Max. Okay. So firstly, packaging the Apple AirPods Max box. What do we get in the box? What's in the box?
what is in the box? This is like every Apple product ever, and that when you open the box, you realise not a lot for the packaging that's there.
Usual stuff. You get this tiny wee thing with all the information on it in very tiny writing. You've got your your Apple cable, your USB-C to Lightning cable.
Yeah.
You've got the headphones themselves, and then you've also got this. We'll come on to this in a bit more detail shortly. The Apple Smart Case as well.
Yeah.
So, that's in the box. Fairly standard stuff. So first, we're going to chat about the design and the build quality of the Apple AirPods Max. So, let me just take it out of this little case.
Out the smart case.
Out the smart case. So, Apple AirPods Max. I think quality-wise, there's definitely a feel of premium, I'd say, when you take them out of the box. That's what
£500, Dave. That's what there's a feel of 500 hard spent pounds there.
They don't feel lightweight or like cheap kind of horrible materials. They have a kind of sturdy kind of build quality to them. They boast pristinely machined single piece anodized aluminium ear cups.
Well, you've just said a lot of words there.
I know. Connected by a stainless steel headband. I've just realised I've actually got covers on these, and maybe that's what
I was
colour looks different.
Like a really sexy matte thing going on there that I kind of love.
So I got these little matte covers for them just so they don't get scratched or anything like that. Just wee silicone ones, so they look slightly different colour.
Hashtag Apple soy boy. What's happening here? Things have been down a toilet, Dave.
Between the cups and your head are the memory foam cushions. Ooh. So plenty of quality in the headband. You've got a kind of nice, kind of soft mesh in there as well.
Breathable mesh, Dave.
Breathable, yeah.
Breathable.
Right through that. And the kind of headband is kind of silicone coated at the top there as well, so it's kind of slightly softer than just kind of bare metal on your head. Yeah, in terms of the look of them, I like the quality. I think it's a premium build. I don't love the look. It's a personal preference.
Apple headphones don't like none of the products that they've. The weird thing about them is, and I've joked about this, when they released the AirPods, everyone was like, they're fucking stupid. Like everyone's going to be losing them because there's not a cable.
Yeah.
It seems like the worst idea. And then within 2 years, everyone was releasing in-ear-pods that basically look like Apple.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling the headphones are the same. They released the Max, and now I just see we'll get into. There's an abundance of headphones, Dave, out in the market there that look very similar to the ones you're wearing on your head. But they look nondescript. There's nothing about that, what you're wearing right now, that I'm like that, oh, Apple.
Yeah, it's a fairly minimal design. There's not a lot to them. There's no like 3.5mm jack. It's quite a streamlined kind of look. The only kind of addition you've got is this side. We go on this side here. We've got a little kind of crown on the top, just down here.
Crown,
which allows you to kind of adjust your volume and answer calls, pause and play and stuff like that. And you've got your button on the other side there for switching between noise cancelling and transparency mode as well. So
we talked in another video about too many buttons and remembering things. There are so few buttons on this that I remember what the buttons do. So that in itself
that's true.
Aids the elder listener. So
that's true. The case that it comes with, or I don't know, it's like a bra or a handbag.
It looks like when you put your headphones in there, it's a pair of tits. It's amazing.
It is, totally is. Like,
it's subliminal as well. You look at it, you're just like, I want them.
Yeah.
I want my face in them for some reason. I don't know why. The amount of times I've been caught motorboating my smart headphones. What are you doing? Just cleaning them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't completely get the case, to be honest. It kind of doesn't perform the most basic function of a case, which is to protect the headphones.
Yeah, all it does is null them.
Yeah.
Like, so when they're in the case, they don't connect to anything. Yeah. That is literally the only thing it does.
Yeah.
Out with that, you're right. Like, if something was to fall on them, no protection.
Yeah.
So, like, it's fucked. So
I have also bought a hard case, these are also available.
I've had mine for a year and there's not even a scratch on it, Dave. What are you doing?
No, mine's neither. If I was putting, like, I took these on holiday, and if I put them in my bag with that wee shitty case, I don't know what state they would have came out in. So nice wee hard case. I like a wee hard case.
You love a wee hard case.
Buy a hard case myself. So yeah,
I'm going to name this hard case, Dave.
And for 500 quid, like, I think it should come with a bit more protection than this. Like, seriously.
This is classic Apple.
What the
It's like that. If you've spent if you think you spent a lot of money on that, wait till you buy a phone. Like, it's like, wait till you buy anything that'll connect to these headphones.
Yeah.
This is cheap. This is Apple cheap, which is why you got a cheap case.
Yeah. So, on design, build quality, I'm kind of like split, as in quality is very good, really good build quality. Don't love the design, not a huge fan of I think there's headphones out there that look way better and nicer than these do for me. What about yourself? Do you agree, or what you thinking?
I mean, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for something flashy, these headphones are not. But one thing that you mentioned, the cups and the ears come out, they're magnetized, which means you can clean them very easily. And trust me, as someone that has used them a lot, this to me is like, if I do any traveling, so if I commute to London or whatever for work, like, I'm on the train for 5 hours watching movies with these on, and they get sweaty, but you can take them off, clean them very easily. They dry incredibly easy, and they clip right back on, and very similar to other headphones out there. You can buy replacement cups when they get
£60 to replace the ear cups, Duncan.
This is Apple though, so everything is expensive. Once you get ahead over that, you're fine. Like, once you just realise everything's just going to be expensive, it's great.
Yeah.
In terms of like just the protective case is shit, right? It doesn't really perform the function that a protective case should. That being said, I tend to take care of them more than I probably should. You know what I mean? I'm very conscious of my headphones, but I wear them a lot.
Yeah.
But I've had them for a year and a bit, and there's not a dent on them. And when I was joking earlier on about them going down the toilet, they haven't been down the toilet, but they have fallen at my bag and all the rest. And there's not a blemish on them. So they are built to last.
This
Cockroaches,
is
Skodas, and Apple headphones will survive a nuclear apocalypse.
this is the actual surface of them. The covers on.
Sexy.
Of the, I think they're space grey. I think this is the colour of these. So it's a kind of aluminium, kind of matte, kind of aluminium. It's got a little bit of a shine of it. And these are the covers that I got for them. They're quite nice as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are various colours available.
I will agree with you. The quote unquote protective case doesn't protect fuck all.
Yeah. So next we're going to chat about weight and comfort. On the weight and comfort front, all that metal and premium material, Duncan, that are used on these does come with a little bit of a setback in that the weight in these motherfuckers.
You'll not forget you're wearing them.
No, you will not.
No.
385 grams in the Apple Airpods Max. So that's 135 grams heavier than the Sony XM5s and 50 grams heavier than the Shure Ioniq 50s we just reviewed as well, which were fairly heavy. So these are 50 grams heavier. The case, there's that.
Case wears fuck all.
So 135 grams in the case.
Really?
Apparently. According to Apple's website anyway.
It feels like they're exaggerating the same way I'm like that. My dick's 9 inches. Is it though?
Really?
Is it?
So like together you're talking about the 500 grams mark of both of these. I put on the internet anyway. I haven't physically weighed them myself, but I have weighed the headphones, and I'll come on to that later on. I haven't weighed the case.
Was this to try and prove something like I've not been frauded again?
But that's not to say that they're not comfortable. I think even with that extra weight, when you slide them on, they do feel quite nice. You know, they do kind of sit quite comfortably on your head, and I think the weight is distributed quite evenly. I found them very comfortable to a point. I think depends how long you're using them, I suppose.
100%. Yeah.
If you're like really long journeys, like I was away on holiday just recently, and on the plane, on a bus, and all that sort of stuff. So I found that after a few hours, I got a little bit of kind of discomfort around the kind of tops of my ears. And I think it's probably just because the weight just kind of hanging on your ears for so long. Didn't have any heat related issues at all. Like as we've said, it's ventilated very well. I had an issue where like, oh, my ears are too hot. I didn't have anything like that. Just a little bit of discomfort in the top of the ears. But again, that could be down to like head shape and all that sort of stuff as well. I tried adjusting the headband, the different lengths, different sizes and all that just to see if it helped, but it didn't really. So fairly comfortable. Long periods starts to get a little bit discomfort for me. What about yourself? Comfort wise, what do you think?
I think the longest I've ever wore them in a single sitting is about 4.5 hours. So it's that train journey, like from Glasgow to London, in a single sitting. And by the end of it, I was kind of glad to get them off. But that being said, I could have them off for like about 3-4 minutes and then put them back on, and it's kind of reset everything. Yeah, they do. The thing about them is when you start to open them, as if you feel like they're going to be quite vice-like. Yeah. Until they go on, and then they surprisingly just acclimate to your head shape. Like you've got a more narrow face shape than mine's. Mine's is more rotund. It's a bit like I've got high cheekbones, so like my shape of my face is a bit higher. And what I found is they, like just sit on nice and comfortable without that push that you, like I say, when you lift them up, when you start, there is restriction there. Yeah. But you don't feel it when it goes on, which is bizarre. Yeah. The ventilation, specifically in the design of the cups, the material in there is very breathable, and I've yet to, out with running in them, which I have done before, out with like actually doing physical activity, the breathability in the ears are like excellent. And then the top of your head, because it's got that kind of mesh along there as well.
Yeah.
Like really, it's one of those things where I kind of feel like they've spent a bit of, like the case is shit because it was given to one guy to design. Everything else has been designed by like a team of crack specialists.
Fucking Steve Apple,
you know what I
man.
mean?
What the
Like,
fuck?
because it does, like, when you feel how well they're put together, you will just assume it's really well put together. This is going to equal uncomfortable for like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I don't get that at all.
No. Okay, nice. So for this review, like every other headphone review we've done, we paired our headphones with a classic metal album. And as normal, we picked something that we've listened to a fair amount of times.
Millions!
Just to see how the Apple Airpods Max would handle it, and compared to other headphones that we've reviewed in the past. For this review, we chose The War of Art by American Head Charge.
Some people out there will be saying, Dave, classic album, question mark? And I will be like, shut your fucking filthy whore mouth. Classic album.
Damn straight. The War of Art is the second studio album from industrial new metal band American Head Charge, released on, I didn't know this until today, August 28th, of all dates.
It's my birthday! Congratulations!
2001.
What a year.
What a year. Produced by Mr. Rick Rubin.
This is like, to me, in terms of when we talk about metal, this is peak Rubin.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, so this is Rick Rubin just after System of a Down self-titled, seconds away from Toxicity, and, you know, mere years from him getting involved with Slipknot, but also with the pedigree of working with like Run DMC, fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, like remixes and Nine Inch Nails stuff, just like a plethora of really incredible stuff. I love this album. There's no like, and the older I get, the more I love this album. Like, I loved it when it came out, right? But the longer time has went on, the more I actually think, if we're going to see The War of Art as a new metal album, which I would argue it probably isn't, but if we were going to say it was a new metal album, I would say it's in the top 5 new metal albums ever released.
Nice. So this was your pick. You picked this album. You've also had the AirPods Max
For so
significantly longer than I. So I'm going to let you take the floor on this one. What did you think of The War of Art through the headphones, and what else did you listen to after that?
Right, so this is the perfect album to swing on because there's so much going on. So The War of Art is a quasi, I mean, for the most part, it's an industrial metal album. I think I feel more comfortable calling it industrial metal with hints of new metal on there than I would necessarily go, this is a new metal album. It fits, it has a ton of influences from everything from Ministry and Skinny Puppy through to Nine Inch Nails. Marilyn Manson's a big influence on this as well, but then it also kind of crosses over into that kind of Static X territory as well, but you get shades of fucking Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, all the rest, more than the vocals than anything else. So it's a great album for dynamics. So you get like a lot of that really heavy stuff, but you get like really quieter, almost like lounge session musicianship that works through tons of instrumentation, synths, samples, etc. Be prepared to hear this a lot while I talk about things. The album sounds fucking mint through these headphones. Like everything. Like listen to this. I got this the day it was released. So at this stage now, we're talking 23 years ago. I bought this fucking album, and I listened to death, and I continue to listen to death. And what I realised is listening through the AirPod Max is that I didn't like raise sounds that I hadn't heard. We've talked about this with White Pony on certain reviews where we're like, I didn't even know that sound existed. I didn't get that. but I just got more of the music.
Yeah.
Like everything just sounds bigger. It
Yeah.
just sounds bolder and it sounds brighter. Rick Rubin's production on this is fucking timeless. Like he's such a he's a hippie, right? And his podcast is hit or miss, right? But he like in every interview I'm like that. Why do you seem nonchalant about how fucking great you are? But his production skills are.
Yeah.
So it's just it gets everything sounding right, and that's what you get here. So everything from the heavier moments of like tracks like Pushing the Envelope or Seamless, or even down to like tracks which are just out and out bangers like All Wrapped Up, juxtapose really great with songs like Self or Just So You Know. Or even tracks like We Believe, where the moments are quieter. Everything sounds great. So on this one, taking an album from 23 years ago, it sounded fucking great. Like I was I'm pigging shit right on this one.
Yeah.
Now to single down albums I've listened to everything in these head. Like anything that I've reviewed in the last 2 years, 2.5 years for Metal Epidemic, my reviews have been based on the headphones you're wearing right now. Right? So I'm going to pick out a broad church.
Oh.
Do you want to do a wee broad church for you there? On things that I will single out as sounding incredible. I will say I've yet to hear an album that I dislike the sound that comes out in this. And what you did not mention in the upfront, which is different from almost everything else, is ain't no app with this one.
Nope.
Well, so you are literally you can adjust settings in if you've got like an iPhone or your machine or an iMac or a MacBook or whatever. You can adjust things for spatial audio settings. Although Apple Music release albums now that are specially tailored to spatial audio.
Yeah.
But the other one is noise cancellation, and that's really it. Like basically what they're so confident they're basically saying you ain't gonna have to fuck with these, right?
Yeah.
We got you, baby. We got you. So let me hit out an album that I love to test with headphones that are a bit bullshit with their PR. Nemic, the audio injected soul, an album which was recorded with 4D. I can't remember the gimmick. I remember reading it and my eyes rolling so hard that they almost never rolled back. Sounds fucking amazing. So all the switches, all the spatial elements. I don't even think it's been released properly as a spatial audio album, and they probably should, because that's how it was recorded.
Yeah.
Sounds fucking amazing. Just like huge. Another one. Let's go with it. Korn on the album, and I don't have it in front of me. It was their After Issues album, which was done with all the fucking most expensive album ever recorded by a metal band at the time. And it had
was Untouchable? No, was it?
Untouchables. That's the one, Dave. It cost $4 million to record that album. You can make movies like, I don't know, feed a village. Once again, sounded fucking huge on that one. Just like all the sims, all the nuance, all the little quirks of production. Absolutely brilliant. Ton of fun with it. Like handles it really, really well. Carole King will always come back to. I'll always go like that's a barometer for how well does it handle old music, and sounds fucking great. Did a bit of this week in particular because when I say this week, yesterday, because you sent me a message saying well we'll do headphone reviews, and I was like yes we shall. Writing to James Brown, a little bit of payback. Oh, the big payback. Nice. Did a bit of James Brown sound. It once again sounds great. Really, really, really cool. In terms of something a bit more abrasive, because like you want to push these things to what the kids call the extreme, Dave. Don't know if you've ever listened to anything that the kids call extreme, but I occasionally listen to things called extreme. The last Napalm Death album has like a bit of that grind.
Listen to the new album by Extreme.
I listened to the new Extreme album and realised that the name is a misnomer. Not very extreme, but back then maybe it was.
True.
Who are we to say anything about anything, Dave? We are just mere peasants kicking about doing fuck all. But yeah, I listened to that last Napalm Death album because it has some of that. It's like more modern production, but has some slamming grind, but also has some really stank sounding industrial in there. Sounded great. I'll tell you an album that will never get old through this one. If you've not listened to it through these headphones, you will be doing it after this. And I tell you right now, you will love me for suggesting it. Fearless and Love by Voyager.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, like be prepared to like be in Australia with the band in the studio. That's how much you will be transported with it. Sounds fucking awesome. Ironworks Dillinger Escape Plan also sounds incredible through these headphones. So once again, heavily recommend that. The ongoing theme on this one, in fact, here's one as well actually that has a ton of fucking. This is the one where, like, when we were reviewing it, I kept talking about how much heart it had when I was listening to it. Cancer by Riverhead, through those headphones, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like you're in the room with them recording. It's fucking nuts. So basically what I'm going to say is I ain't heard anything that I dislike through these headphones.
Yeah.
These are the headphones that I kind of compare everything to. Yes, I am a card-carrying member of the Apple fan club. I don't know how many iPads I've had. I'm on my 10th generation iPhone at this stage. So I've been through the works with them. And originally when these headphones were released, I didn't buy them day one, and they haven't really come down in price. They're still sitting about how much they were when they first come out. But I'll tell you right now, the first time I did the noise cancelling on them, I was fucking sold. Like, absolutely. That gimmick they mentioned there, and we'll probably talk about afterwards, of being able to have conversations with people and interact with the world, and then noise cancelling, sounds like a gimmick until you put them on, and it ain't no gimmick. So, yeah, tons of stuff. I'm curious about you, because you had everything. The world was your oyster.
It was, yeah.
But you obviously had to start with American Head Charge. But I am so curious the journey you took these the journey you've taken these headphones on, the little walk that you took listening to the album. So start with the War of Art.
War of Art. So yeah, I think the kind of main thing that surprised me about this was, and you mentioned it already, but there's no app.
Yeah.
So I panic had kind of set in initially when I first got these in. I was like,
how do I adjust the bass? How do I adjust the bass?
How do I download the app to adjust the EQ? Yeah. And it's like, no, there's no app. I was like, right. So how do you change the EQ? And then obviously when I looked into it further, there is a feature built into these, which I'll come on to in just a second.
Yep.
So right out of the box, super surprised at how good these actually sounded, like straight away without me having to do anything. Initially, before I'd done that, I was like, they've missed a trick here. They should have done an app. Because I'm so used to doing it. Like, for every set of headphones, they come with an app to connect them and, adjust noise cancelling, all that sort of stuff. So it just felt like really odd not to have that. Obviously, you can EQ within Spotify or Apple and stuff like that, but then you're EQing everything and not just like the headphones. You might be listening to other stuff. The feature I was talking about that's built in is called adaptive EQ, which basically
means... an
Apple
phrase, which they have a phrase for everything, Dave, and you just have to go, yes.
Cool. And that basically means that there's these kind of inward microphones that are built in to the headphones, and they are used to kind of monitor the sound frequencies within your ear cups. So that is adjusting basically in real time to give your ears the best possible sound to whatever you're listening to, and it's really good. Like the sound on these is super crisp. I agree with you that there wasn't anything that I put on I was like, oh my god, I've never heard that before, like where did that come from? There was nothing like that, but the sound that is delivered is so rich and really a really nice kind of spaciousness to it. When you put it on, the clarity is just really, really good. The frequencies are super precise, but not overpowering as well. Like the bass is really, really deep, very rich, but never feels like it's drowning out any other frequencies that you're listening to. Also doesn't sound at all digital or like super processed. You know what I mean? The AirPods Max have a very kind of natural kind of precision and fullness to them, where everything feels really crystal clear, but is shaped perfectly to give you the kind of best listening experience of whatever album it is that you're listening to. The War of Art might be over 20 years old, but does not sound it through these
No,
headphones.
Rick
Like,
Rubin, man, I swear to God.
as soon as like a violent reaction kicked in, and it has that like thick, like heavy punch in the drums and bass, it just sounded super hefty, but never overpowered anything. The guitars and vocals still sit very perfectly in the mix, cutting through. The guitars have got real substance to them, but you could hear all the little intonations in the playing. They also have like bits of electronics and more kind of industrial elements, kind of weaving through it, and that all cuts through very nicely. I think that the album sounded great when I hit "Just So You Know." That was when I was like, oh, Jesus, like that sounds huge. Like that track has multiple layers of vocals, but again, lots of electronics kind of buried in the background, but you can pick out everything. Like there's nothing that's buried in the mix or kind of muffled at all. When the chorus kicked in though, and that like stereo field, it just felt really filled up with sound when that actually kind of kicked in. I was like, wow, the chorus and the vocals on that sounded crazy good. Seamless as well, which is another powerhouse track. The headphones handled it with ease. That kind of high end of the hi-hats and the cymbals was something that really caught my ear on that one, how clear they actually were on that track. But yeah, like the kind of build of these headphones, there's a real kind of premium sound as well from the get-go. If you're a metalhead, these will not disappoint. Like the attack and punch is there in spades, but also sounds really rich and clear at the same time. So I love the sound of that album through these. I then went on a bit of a journey.
Tell us the journey, Dave.
Oh man! So I was, after I'd heard that, I was like, I'm already ready to go to different genres because I've had these for a couple of months, so I have listened to other metal albums already. But I wanted to test them on other genres, so I wanted to go really something really bass heavy. And I went for Basement Jaxx's Remedy album.
Oh, dude.
From 99, I think that was released. Man, like, sounds killer. Absolutely killer. Like, the bass on that album, it's one of those albums that when you play it, if you like play it in the car, you can feel the bass right in your chest. Like, it's just really, like, hits you right there. And it sounded really intense in the headphones as well, but just, like, when you heard it, you just wanted to kind of really get into it. Really powerful bass. So, yeah, and I thought, like, right, okay, I listened to that, I was like, that sounds fucking great. I'm going to continue on with this because I was just like ready for more bass and more drums. I was like, we're going to go Fat of the Land by The Prodigy right after that. And like, oh my God, like that, the opener is Smack My Bitch Up on that album. And it's got that long kind of build up before the drums kick in. When it drops though, like it was colossal. Like the sound was just absolutely huge. Sounded even better than Basement Jaxx, and just all those there's lots of little bits of electronics on that album that kind of pan around the headphones, and it was really like a really nice experience just kind of sitting listening to that. So even stuff that has really like intense bass, there was kind of zero distortion or harshness through these. I then went complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I went to Tom Petty's Wildflowers, which is just like
all over the shop.
Yeah, totally. So that was, I think it's mid 90s that came out. It's a kind of a really pretty album, just like acoustic-y, folky. There's plenty of texture and really rich tones in the vocals, but also has like a great mix of instrumentation, piano and harmonica and organ, bits of strings. So a real joy to listen. It's one of those albums that is kind of recommended as a like one of the best productions and all that stuff. Weirdly, didn't even realize until later, produced by Rick Rubin as well.
Of course it fucking was. I mean, I swear to God, Rick Rubin.
It's just a coincidence that we were doing War of Art and I'd listened to that at the same time, but sounded incredible. The soundstage on that just sounds phenomenal. This one though, this next one I was so in my element, man. So I've had this kind of weird obsession recently, right? With a guy from the 80s, right? His name was Carl Carlton, right? And he had a big track back in the 80s called She's a Bad Mama Jamma, right? And that track, man, it's like, you know, if you have like a track that you just play constantly. Like you go through this phase where you're just like obsessed with it. And I must have heard it again somewhere recently. I was like, oh, that's an absolute banger of a track. And I've been playing it like ever since. She's a Bad Mama Jam. It's so fucking good. I love that track. It came out like early 80s. But I was like, I don't actually think I've listened to the album that album came from. So I was like, I'm going to hunt that down. Let's have a wee look. So I'm sure it's a self-titled album. Came out like 81 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like the album is an absolute front to back banger. Like I was like,
really?
Holy shit. Like this guy didn't just have one hit. This guy was writing bangers like from the get-go. And it's basically a full album about shagging. Like the whole thing. The whole thing. It's like every track. It's so good though. Like it's so good. It's like heavily like funk laden. It's big fat bass lines just all over the place, killer brass section, and vocal hooks on pretty much every track. It's one of those albums that when you hit play, you're in for the whole album. There's like no way I'm skipping any tracks or I'm stopping halfway through. I'm listening to this full thing, and it sounded awesome. Like just really like full of warmth, really full sounding, and it's got a real classic 80s sound to it as well. It's absolutely brilliant production. So on a sound front, I didn't, again, like yourself, I didn't listen to anything and think, that's a bit underwhelming or there's something lacking there. It sounded great, like right across the board on whatever genre that I played. I was really impressed with the sound on these. I did try the spatial audio as well, which is like a kind of 3D surround sound type effect. I think it's most effective when you're watching like movies and stuff.
100%, yes.
Like you get certain sounds that are kind of hitting you from different places, and it's got this dynamic head movement thing where the sound kind of follows you. But it's really cool. When I was watching stuff like on the plane and stuff, it works really well there. And for music, I probably wouldn't bother, to be honest.
I feel like it's like the same way I feel like 3D is a gimmick for movies. I kind of feel like spatial audio is a gimmick for albums.
Yeah.
Like you, when watching movies, which I use it a lot for watching movies on my iPad or like watching them on the iMac. Like turn around to speak to someone or whatever, you do get that proper turn and sound where you do feel like if you were at the cinema and you went to speak to someone, that's what you would hear. So from that point of view, I would agree with that. I've yet to hear the spatial audio album where I'm like, yes, this is the future of sound.
Yeah, same. We mentioned it kind of briefly earlier, but I just want to go back to noise cancelling on these headphones.
Yeah. This is why I lost the previous set that I had. This is why Corinne has the old set that I had, because I said to her, she was moaning about commuting on the train and like our fucking in-ear things and all, and I was like, it never bothers me because of the noise cancellation on the headphones. She's like, what do you mean? I put them on our ears, and I was like, it was the Ace Ventura thing. I was like, I was like, literally talking to her. I was like, press the button, and I went for that tip. And she was looking at me going, oh my fucking God. And I was like, yes, like the world disappears, which is a good thing and a bad thing. You need to be responsible when using it. I've been out running with these headphones on roads and then a car's whizzed past me dangerously close.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about them is when it's not in noise cancel mode, I've walked into a coffee shop, listened to music, ordered the coffee, been able to communicate without issue. Yeah. Because it amplifies I feel like it amplifies using microphones. It must be technology. Uses Apple external conversation technology to you can as the way we're talking right now. I can have a full conversation while listening to music. The closest I can describe it is I have a pair of bone conducting headphones, which I use for longer distance running, where I know I'm going to be running on roads and stuff, which don't sit in your ears. They sit basically like just above your temple, and you can hear everything through your ears as normal, but you can also hear music. It's the weirdest fucking shit ever. The closest it comes to it is that, and that I can have a full conversation with someone but still listen to music. So. How did you get on with them though? Because you've tried a few of these noise cancelling things now. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah,
it really is. Yeah, and I thought I'd heard some really good noise cancelling headphones. But like once you put these on and you turn on the ANC, you are not hearing a goddamn thing around about you. Like I was sitting at my desk. I couldn't even hear like keyboard clicks. I couldn't hear anyone talking. It was pretty much, it was like 99% silent.
Yeah, it's hashtag home intruder. You know what I mean? You don't want to, like, if you have a fear of home intrusion, don't set that mode on.
No. I mean, I probably listened to music at unacceptable volumes anyway, so that probably drowned out even more. But even on the plane, like when you've got a lot of kind of background and noise surrounding you on an airplane, when I had these on, couldn't hear anything. Like, it was when I took these off and I was on the plane, I was like, oh, it actually amplifies.
How loud is it here?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, oh my god, it's actually really loud without these on. But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with the ANC on these. Very good noise cancelling. Probably one of the best I've heard on that front. Couple of small things. Yeah, phone calls. Fine. Like, nothing crazy good. I was maybe expecting a little bit more. Like, for the price, I was thinking these were going to be like shit hot, but maybe not the best audio quality on the phone calls compared to some other headphones that we've tried in the past. There is probably better out there. Battery is, it's 20 hours. It's pretty much there. It's maybe not quite 20 hours, but it's not far away from 20 hours. Again, it's one of these ones where you'll charge them once and then not have to charge them for quite a while afterwards. Like, they do last for a very long time. I think I think about 5 minutes. I think it gives you about an hour and a half, something like that.
You get a while from them, yeah.
You get a really good boost and a kind of short charge from them as well, which is great. If you're in like a jam and you need to give them a quick charge up, then 5 minutes is nothing really. So that's the kind of the take on our headphones. Will we talk about fakes first, or do you want to do scores first?
Let's do scores and then go into fakes, because this is like my favourite. I want to save the best for last.
So ratings wise, what are we thinking? What would you score the Apple AirPods Max?
I mean, this should be no surprise. It's a 5 for me. Granted, some of the peripherals aren't great, but where I buy a set of headphones, I'm buying them because I want minimum effort, maximum sound. I've yet to find a pair of over-the-ear headphones that are Bluetooth that are as minimum effort as the Apple ones with the maximum sound that I have. I've yet to hear an album where I'm like, that doesn't sound great through these. Everything sounds amazing. And movies as well, you mentioned it before. I use them like an inordinate amount of time during the day and for travel and all the rest. And when I watch movies, the movies sound amazing. When I listen to music, the music sounds amazing. So I give it the maximum marks that I can give any product. 5. How about you, Dave? Skeptical Dave.
In terms of the sound, sound wise, like, these are fantastic. I can't complain or moan about anything sound wise. For like over-ear, closed back Bluetooth headphones, these are probably the closest thing to like the Hi-Fi Man ones we did right at the very start.
Yeah.
And those were like over $1,000 price wise. They also feel like quality. Like, there's nothing kind of cheap about the build of these. And there's a good level of comfort. Yeah, maybe a little bit of discomfort after prolonged periods, but for in the kind of short time, if you're using them for an hour or two, absolutely fine. Like, I didn't have any issues there. Connectivity was great as well. Like, they are literally connecting my iPhone within seconds, and as you take them on and off, it stops music, starts music as well. So that's pretty cool. Battery was fine. 20 hours, like, who's going to need more than 20 hours really? A couple of wee small things, not huge gripes really for me. I mentioned a little bit of discomfort after like kind of 3 hours plus for me, but I apart from kind of traveling, going on holiday, I don't see any other time that I'd be using these for like that length of time in one go. The design of them, it's not the sexiest pair of headphones I've ever seen. Again, it's just personal preference. There's other headphones out there that look better than these. The smart case is pointless. Like,
out with nulling it from connecting to something I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. But as I said, I've bought another case, so it's not a huge deal for me. I just stick them in that case now. Nothing much else. I mean, I'd have thought by now they maybe would have updated the lightning connector to USB-C. because they've updated
I
all their
think that
phones.
may be why they're holding off. To be, I think that might be why they've not released another pair, because obviously, like everyone you buy now is one that has been made to the previous specification, which I think gets them out of the loophole of the changes in the EU law, which forces them to USB-C.
Yeah.
So I think the weird thing about it is the next update, I don't know. In theory, they should be thinner.
Yeah.
On the next update because of the way Apple works technology and that cable connection. But the weird thing about it is, like, and I know this is the most marked statement mentioned on this, I don't know how you improve on the sound. You know what I mean? Like, when I listen, that's my default, like, norm now. That's how I want all music to sound, like how they sound through those.
Yeah.
So how they improve that out with an aesthetic design which isn't enough to make me buy a new pair now, I don't know how they get around that. So
so like very positive. Price wise, it's steep, but it's an Apple product.
It's insane. Right, let's like, don't sugarcoat it. It's Apple prices where everything becomes like silly money.
Yeah. 500 quid for headphones is expensive. I got these the final pair on Prime Day. So Amazon obviously do a Prime Day every so often. So I got these at 425 on Apple Prime Day. So that was, I mean, I was still debating it, to be honest, at 425, but I bit the bullet and went with it anyway. But when it comes down to it, the reason that I'm buying these is for sound. Like, I want to hear my music with the best possible sound. And I couldn't complain about the sound of these headphones. So I'm going to go 4.5 on these ones. Thoroughly enjoyed the listen and the experience of these, and I've enjoyed going back to a lot of older albums as well that I've not listened to for a while, and hearing them through these as well sound really good.
I'm legit listening to Basement Jaxx as soon as we finish recording. I'm not listening to fucking that album, and Remedy's a fucking banger.
Great album. So final thing, I want to just a little bit about Fake's Apple iPods Max.
I will be honest, I am naive to this in that I went straight to Amazon to get mine. So I didn't circle the wagons like you did, Dave, to various other... I was going to say you went to reputable sources, but for some reason, unreputable dealers were on those sources. So I can't really blame you as being naive. I can only blame these bad people out there on the internet that
I didn't know
out
it
there
was
to take advantage.
I didn't know it was as rife out there with fakes. I didn't realise at all until I bought a pair.
So tell us your story of ennui.
So I have this is my third pair of AirPods Max. The first pair that I bought, I was I was duped to buying a set of AirPods Max on eBay, because initially I was like 500 quid. Let's see if I can get them on eBay. So, and there was lots of them selling, used pairs and all that sort of stuff. But I'd found a couple of people selling brand new ones, and the price was fairly reduced. And that should have been a warning straight away. But initially I was like, these are only £375. That's a saving of £125. And these are brand new, sealed, still got the plastic on them. Legit like seller, because I would never buy something off someone that had like negative feedback and stuff. So like they had 100% feedback, all that sort of stuff looked good. And I was like, these look ideal. Let's just pick them up. And I got them, and my God, the one thing that really kind of stood out was the sound, which I'm going to come on to a list of things that you need to watch out for, but the sound was one main thing that was hugely different with these fakes. I could tell straight away I wasn't listening to £500 headphones. And that's maybe because we're used to listening to different headphones and different qualities and stuff. But for people that maybe would maybe not notice that, there are a whole load of other things that I'm going to tell you about that you're better checking. So luckily, I had found various videos and information on the internet of things to look out for, and when I checked the headphones, sure enough, these were definitely fakes. Very, very good fakes, I might add. Like, some people would probably buy these and not even realise. So luckily I managed to get my money back on eBay when I went back to the seller and said, listen, these are not legit. These are not original AirPods.
You sold me a lemon, you bastard.
They did refund them. My second pair was a legit pair that I bought from Amazon. I went to the Amazon warehouse, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's where mine's come from. Mine's are like the slight dent on the box got me about 100 quid off them. So
when you go on Amazon, they've got all the new stuff, but they've also got used pairs or ones that have been sent back for whatever reason, maybe unwanted gifts or whatever. They're all checked over, and if there's any marks on the box or the item itself, it's usually written in the description. So I ended up getting a pair on there for $435, I think it was. So initially I was like, cool, like that's a fair chunk off. When I got them,
still a saving, yeah.
The actual Airpods Max had no marks on them at all. The box was open and stuff like that, but the actual unit itself looked absolutely fine. The only thing that was slightly disappointing for me was it looked like they were about 6 months old, because I could tell from when you synced them up with your phone, it told you when the warranty ran out, and it only had about 6 months left. And I was like, okay, so these are about 6 months. The battery was also running out a little bit quicker than I was expecting. So initially I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. But then literally 2 weeks later, they had a Prime Day and they came down to brand new 425, and I sent them back and I got these ones. So that's why I've now got three, or I've had 3 pairs. So things to look out for. Here's like top things to look out for on fakes.
Davey's checklist for fakes.
Yes. Firstly, forget about the serial number. People were like, check it's got a correct serial. Forget it. All right. Serial numbers on the fakes are copied from real pairs of AirPods Max. They're just basically the same number that's on a real pair. So that tells you absolutely nothing. Forget about that. First thing is on the packaging straight away, right on the get-go, when you get the packaging, on the back of the box, the year on the box should be 2020. Okay. Yeah. Now the pair I got had 2024 on them, which initially I didn't even question, thinking this is 2024, they're brand new, so why would it not be? But the date will always be 2020, because that's when they were first issued. That was basically when they first came out. Obviously, if they released AirPods Max 2, that will change, but for these ones, it should always be 2020 that's on the back bottom right-hand corner. So that's the first thing.
The word Apple is spelt with 3 P's is a fake.
Yeah, I mean, obviously check spelling and stuff, like, because sometimes I've seen a couple online where they've spelt things incorrectly.
Max with 2 X's.
Yeah. Also, when you open up the box, the packaging on the fakes, this bit in here can be quite kind of loose and kind of floppy. It's not like that's tight in there. That's not coming out. The ones I had, this was kind of moving around a little bit. Which, again, had I not known anything about it, didn't really think about it.
You've opened other more expensive headphones where the inlays come out, so I could see why you would not question it.
Your earphones will also come with these little cardboard kind of ear covers. Fake ones can sometimes be plastic, so just watch out for that. Check they've got the cardboard ones in there. Also, one thing I didn't know about either, mine didn't have this little kind of paper cover thing on it. It's
right, yeah.
I don't know what you would call that, but
they love a wee paper. Everything you buy from Apple has a wee paper cover
like
over it. So
greaseproof paper or something like that. It's like that kind of material. So the case and the headphones are usually covered in this. Mine didn't have that on the fakes, so that's another thing just to kind of watch for. Once you open up the case, this thing here in the inside. So when you open this up, you take the headphones out. On this bit in the inside, there's a bit of text. It's very hard to see because it's quite dark. But there should be a bit of text that says designed by Apple, assembled in China. Again, my fakes didn't have that written on the inside of the case either. So
here said designed in China, made in China, sold in China, sold to mugs. This is my headphones.
When you turn them on, you should get the standard kind of Apple thing pop up on your phone asking, do you want to connect the AirPods Max? There should be a connect button there as well. Mine's didn't. It did have a little pop-up, but it didn't have a connect button on it. I had to go into the Bluetooth settings and then manually connect the headphones to my phone. So that's another thing. There should be a little thing that pops up that says connect. On the actual headphones themselves, the button on the top, so not the crown, but the little button that changes the ANC to transparency mode. On the fakes, it was very clicky. All right, so when you pressed on that, you could hear a little clicking noise. On this one, like I'm pressing that just now, you can't hear a single thing. It's so kind of soft and silent. You won't hear anything at all. So that's another thing just on the top of it. What else? Inside the ear cup. So as I said, these little things come out. Inside that, there should be a little hole. I don't know if you'll see it in this camera, but there's a little pinhole right at the top there on the inside there. Again, the fakes didn't have that either, so that's another thing to have a look at once you get your Airpods Max. I've also heard, I don't know how easy this is to tell, but in the inside of this, there's an R and an L to tell you what side.
Yes, that's
the
right.
headphones.
Yeah.
So apparently on the fake ones, the lettering is slightly thinner than the Apple ones. It's a bit thicker. But again, unless you have something to compare it against, it's difficult to tell that one. Same with the ear cups on the outside. The fakes are kind of plasticky. They sound different. So when I hit that, it sounds more like metal, whereas the other ones have got a more kind of plasticky kind of feeling or sound when you actually tap them, or even when you click them together. If you click the two, I've got a cover on these, but if you hit them together, it'll sound kind of plasticky. So that's just another thing to check. There is also a thing about screws as well. They've got little screws around the outside of these. I think the fakes are silver screws and the real ones are like a kind of dark grey gunmetal kind of color. The headband, a couple of tails in the headband as well. The fake ones, these are a bit flimsier, so if you squeeze that, it should be fairly tight. Like there should be no real give in that at all. The fake ones, you can pretty much squeeze that bit right together, whereas I couldn't possibly get that bit together. Much sturdier on the real ones. Also adjusting this bit here, so adjusting the length with the fakes, it makes a kind of like scraping kind of noise. You can hear the kind of metal on the inside as you kind of lengthen that. With the real ones, it's fairly smooth and there's no kind of sound comes off that at all. Weight was something I mentioned earlier. So these weigh 385 grams. If you weigh the fakes, there is a completely different weight to them. Okay, so they're not identical weights. That's another thing. If you've got a set of scales, you can chuck these little digital scales. You'll see the weight should be 385, or it's like 384.8 or something like that. With a noise cancelling, another thing for the real AirPods Max, you have to have them on to change the noise cancelling. With the fakes, you can actually do it through the app. You can switch between noise cancelling and transparency mode and stuff. With them off, you can have them just lying on the table on the fake ones, but the real ones, you've actually got to have them on to change or switch on the noise cancelling. The spatial audio also didn't work on the fakes for me, so although I went into it on my phone and settings, I couldn't get it to connect to the spatial audio. When you go into the spatial audio, there's a little pop-up and it asks you to initiate the spatial audio. It does a little scan of your ears, so you've got to do this little kind of turny thing. With the fakes, didn't do that at all. Last thing, the main thing I mentioned, the sound. For me, I noticed a sound difference straight away. I just knew I wasn't listening to good quality headphones. As I said, it might not be something everyone can tell straight away. Another thing that was worth mentioning is the volume. I noticed with the fakes, I had to crank the volume on them to get like what I would deem as normal volume in the headphones. I thought that was weird as well. I was like, why am I having to turn this almost maximum to get like a normal level of volume? So that was another thing that kind of was a bit of a giveaway. So hopefully from that list, you should be able to kind of make a decision on whether you've bought real ones or fake ones. But there's a lot of them out there, so just be careful. On eBay especially, there's a lot of headphones that look new and are sealed and come with great, positive feedback. But it's really, really hard to tell from a photo as well. You don't really get to see much. Even the date thing on the back, it's sometimes hard to tell in the photos if it's 2020 or 2024 that's written on it. So just kind of be wary. I would try and steer away from that if you can. Go with more reputable companies and that are selling legit AirPods. I know they're going to be more expensive, but it's the chance you take, I suppose. So that's spotting some fakes. If you need a little bit of information on that, I wish I knew that before I had bought my first set of Apple AirPods, but I didn't. So there you go.
You live and you learn, Dave.
You do. So that is our review of the Apple AirPods Max. Thanks for checking it out, much appreciated. There'll be a little timestamp below if you want to jump to certain bits to hear us talking about different things. Let us know if you've got a set yourself, if you're thinking about getting a set, stick some questions, comments, let us know, much appreciated. Thanks for checking out the review. We'll be back with another tech review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye everyone.